Much has been said about sort of you guys leaning more into and being more open to these pop tendencies, right? That maybe formerly you wouldn't have, because if you think about, like, you know, like, it's probably almost a dirty term 15 to 20 years ago, right? Of course, like the idea of selling out or anything like that has probably been obliterated by now. But give me a real life example of your, like, a fork in the road in the studio where maybe you leaned into something that in the previous recordings you would have been like, no, that's not us. We can't do that. That's too pop. What's an example?
I think for this record, one example, well, just the first thing that came to mind was probably the keyboard solo in Bitter Conversation, which is track 6 or something, 5 or 6, I don't remember.
Somewhere in there.
It's like such a pop solo that I think maybe in the past we would have been like, we need to mess it up some way, or, you know, it needs to be less, you know, immediate or something. But it just kind of felt so good, and the rest of the song is also pretty poppy. So it kind of it made it easy to just be like, well, let's just go with it. You know, we have all these other, like, what we think of as like kind of punky songs on the record too. So having that other side of the, you know, the spectrum represented is cool.
Yeah, because it's funny. We, in our minds, we always thought that we were like a pop band, or always trying to be a pop band, and like every record we made, we're like, oh, this is like so poppy. Oh my God, this is too poppy. And then like going back and listening to like 3 records ago, it's like, what were we thinking? Like this was going to be on the radio or something. But you know, we've always tried to, yeah, like you were saying, like temper our, like, you know, more poppy sensibilities with, like, you know, making it a little weirder, not to be like clever just because that's what we would do, you know, for better or for worse. So yeah, we've always been interested in like the weirder kind of more idiosyncratic stuff. We've always been interested in the really poppy stuff, but we've tried to combine it all over the years, which, you know, is fun in itself. But I think, yeah, this time around, we sort of honed in on each of those things a little bit more. And we're like, well, let's let the pop stuff, let's not bog it down with too much overthinking and cleverness. Let's not try to polish the rough stuff too much. Let's let those things like be what they want to be. And part of it too is like we did this record, we had so many different producers and collaborators and co-writers. So it wasn't like just doing, you know, 15 tracks with like the same people in the same room for like 6 weeks. So it was like a little bit here, a little bit there. So we were able to like approach each session with a lot more freedom and flexibility. Right. And working with, like you were saying, this keyboard solo with Dean wrote, Kieran and Dean were these two producers. We did like 5 or 6 songs with in LA, and they were like really pop producers, and we had never really done that. We used to like overthinking everything, you know, just one line in a song could like put us, you know, into a holding pattern for like a few weeks. We're like, you know, it's not the perfect word, you know. But they just sat down. We sat down with like yellow legal pads, and they're like, okay, what's the song about? What rhymes with this? And we're just like, just cranking out lyrics. And totally. I think working like that was just like really, really inspiring too, and very different for us.